Welcome to another Quantum Conversation. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here with Alicia Power and the Creator Beings. And today we're talking about how physical symptoms are keys to ancient soul wounds. A fascinating topic. And we're going to learn so much, as we always do, and feel the Creator Beings and also witness the Creator Beings doing their work. Hello, Alicia. Thank you for being here. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Loren. It is always such a huge honor to be here, of course, on your show. And I'm excited for this topic today. I'm excited. I think every light worker needs to have these skills. And yeah, look, I've been hearing and witnessing some prominent light workers getting ill.
Yeah.
And recently a prominent light worker, I think, had a heart attack or a stroke and died. And yeah, and I'm thinking I've got to just start educating people about the blueprints and that we have to rely on our spirit helper teams to have a look in there regularly every single day. We can't see it. We don't know what's in those blueprints. We might be feeling normal, but I just want to say that's my motivation. We have to stick around. In fact, I'm just remembering another light worker that died prematurely just recently that I knew way back. I'm thinking, what the heck's going on?
I want to
really
take a moment and recognize Sheila Gale.
oh
A beautiful soul, about a year ago. Wow. Well, okay. Then we are looking forward to learning more about this. So share with us, Alicia, and how we begin to detect this blueprint and what might need corrections.
yeah. So you guys all know that I deal with very high teams in the worlds of spirit, and a lot of the time specific teams arrive, or we call upon them, and we work on our soul light bodies, upgrading the light quotient and the light frequencies in our soul bodies for the purpose of, there's something called, which the spirit world terms and works with me a lot with, which is this term, someone's choice, which people who've been with me for a while know that I use this term every now and again. It's a bit of jargon from the worlds of spirit. And they use this word choice as the sum total snapshot of all of your auric fields, excuse me, of who you are at any moment. And even I, every day to this point, I'm just describing something which is not about the physical body, it's about the soul. And it's like we springboard from that place inside of ourselves, that snapshot of all of what's sitting in all of our auric fields, how we're vibrating at any moment in time. That's where we're coming from. That's our perspective. That's our lens. That's how we're reacting. That's how we see ourselves. That's how we act. A second, clear my throat. So this is a term that the teams call, the word choice. And I'm just describing this because it's so different to what we're going to be talking about today, which is the physical body and the blueprints of the physical body, which is in the energy worlds and the spirit worlds, the matrices that underpin the physical body. So the scope of what I work with the teams is kind of really wide. But today, I am recognizing that light workers aren't taking this thing seriously, and they're not current with it. And one of the key things around this whole discussion around body blueprints, yep, you can be doing your yoga and beautiful stretching and doing aerobic exercise or whatever, by the way, which cleans the energy field, cleans one of the bodies. Whenever I'm on my stationary bike and I'm just getting a little warmer as I'm working with it. I'm watching low frequency shadow just push out of my auric field. It's a great way. Aerobic exercise is a really good way to just, on a certain level, just get rid of an accumulation of low shadow energy. Isn't it interesting? It's so interesting. Anyway, but let's look at this, because the single thing, um, this kind of framework that I'm thinking that light workers aren't aware of, and they sort of brush past it and they don't think it's important. And I'm someone who talks a little bit about shadow, and it's because it's pragmatic, it's practical. It's got to do with whether you stay alive or not to keep doing your light work or work. It's really practical. We're walking in an energy suit down here in the physical dimension, and all the quantum worlds that underpin the physical dimension are full of communities of beings. We've got our beautiful light mentors, but we've also got interrupting energy. We've also got communities of beings that strategize to trip us up, actually, and to download software into us that lowers our choice, that lowers who we think we are. And this can accumulate over a period of time, and this can create psychological situations, like the lens that we're coming from, right? So it's our emotions and our psychology also. So those background blueprint energy systems are being touched by a lot of hands. And we humans are naive to that and are innocent to that. This is the big message. You can't wait till you feel an emotion or you're feeling a little bit down. You can't wait until, this is another really big point, everybody, I'm saying right up front, don't wait until you aren't feeling quite right to do the scanning with your spirit teams. We're about to do some practical exercise where you're going to go in and learn how to do this. But I'm just saying right up front, all the beautiful people have been in therapy, and the light workers, and all the beautiful therapists with all your modalities. We're very attuned to ourselves. We can feel when we're not quite right. Great moment to do a scan with your spirit teams. But I'm saying don't even wait for that, because things can accumulate in your spirit systems, in your energy map of your psychology, and the energy map of your physical body. And so what I'm saying right up front, lots of teaching points today. So big teaching point right up front is don't wait until you're feeling not quite right, because we're really good at noticing if we're not quite right, because we get really sensitive. Just don't wait for that. Like clockwork, every single day, do a process where you're closing your eyes. I always say lie down, go very, very quiet, and call in your teams. We'll be teaching you how to do this in a moment, and get them to take a look at your auric field, because they're the guys that can see into the quantum, right? We can't. We're not very good at it. We get given beautiful metaphorical pictures, but boy, we can't rely on that as we can't rely on that solely. We've got to rely on our spirit teams to take a look. Right early on, when I first started doing energy work 34 years ago now, instantly I knew that I had to get out of the way and let the spirit teams be the masters, be the experts, to go in and do their work, do their scanning, do their looking, do their assessments, and then do their transmutations. And I watch. So right from the get-go, from ground zero, from very beginning, I knew I had to rely on them. Okay, not my human intellect, not my human experience, as an acupuncturist, or as a myofascial, I don't know, whatever the therapy is that we know a lot about. When we're working with the worlds of spirit, we really have to get out of the way and let them do the work. And what I'm going to invite all of you as an audience here today is to have moments where you get comfortable with looking into the worlds of spirit and watching these spirit teams work. opening up the video camera, turning on pretend mode and imagination mode, which is your magic window into what is actually being done, because it gets rid of your logic. As soon as you turn on your imagination and your pretend mode, you become bigger than your logic. And suddenly that interface is there. Suddenly the spirit world is giving you metaphorical visuals, just subtle impressions, and we're away. You're away partnering. Another framework I want to just quickly right up front talk about is this is a partnership. It's a two-way street. In quantum physics, human consciousness is everything. Where you put your attention, your reality manifests, wherever you're putting your attention. So in the quantum, working with quantum beings, they really want us to watch, because our human attention intensifies the change, intensifies the result of what they're doing, because they're doing everything with human permission. Just letting you guys know. So, there is a moment where, say, you're lying down on a couch or on a bed and you're inviting these guys in to do this work, where they actually turn the energy up so strongly that you do kind of go asleep slightly, snooze into snooze mode. And that's totally fine. So I just want to say there is that kind of a moment, but that is packaged around a lot of you putting your attention on what they're doing. And in the most intense moment where they are transmuting something and pulling it out, that energy will get very strong, and you'll feel a little bit like you lose focus and you lose concentration. But that's the moment that they're pulling the hook out, or pulling the substance out that they're pulling out, because in the energy worlds, everything has a texture, and it's a substance, and it's an energy substance that they're pulling out. Or it's an entity that they're pulling out. So I'm just describing here our active participation. It is a relationship. It's a connection. Our human connection to what they're doing is supreme. It's so important that our attention is watching what they're doing, because it amplifies the change. It amplifies the result. And in contrast to that, many light workers send out a prayer and then lay back and ask vaguely spirit to come and heal them. See, that's not good enough. It's just not good enough. It's not precise enough. It's not deliberate enough. It's not directed enough. The spirit teams really need our precise instructions, quite precise. That's why today we are going to be going into a moment where I'm going to ask all of you guys who are watching this to make a decision in your body, like just as so that we actually move through a process with this as an example, so that you get to feel what it feels like and how to partner. So I'm going to be asking you to choose something in your physical body, even if it's recent, to work on with these guys. And we're going to step by step work with this. So just letting you guys know that this is like so important, because number one, we can't see it. Number two, the spirit technicians know how to do it. Number three, we do need to be engaged. We do need to instruct them, point to what we want changed, point to what we want released. When I say released, because sometimes pain in the physical body comes from an intensity of pressure in the blueprints. And usually that intensity of pressure, it's like heat almost. It's like disturbance energy creates pressure. And that shows up as, say, for example, high blood pressure, or degradation in some part of your body where the cells start degenerating in some way. So it's that blueprint has got some kind of a disturbed energy and it's creating incorrect processes in cell metabolizing, in cell metabolism, in cell, the way that a cell is metabolizing oxygen or nutrients, where it starts to not metabolize those nutrients and oxygen and starts to metastasize, or whatever that is, where it just accumulates toxins and it just keeps going on and on. But in the blueprint, there's a disturbance matrix underneath it. And sometimes that's being held by entities from past lives, from soul wounds, or from downloaded from somebody that you've been around who holds a lot of shadow, or Lorraine, you and I were talking just before, or overnight, some kind of a astral being has arrived while you're sleeping and downloaded some shadow into your auric field. It happens. It happens. This is why we as light workers really need to be on top of this. And my main clearing time is in the morning when I wake up, to get my spirit teams to look at all my auric fields and clear and clean, and I work with them so that I jump out of bed ready for my day and with a clear head and feeling settled in myself. See,
Okay.
Lorraine, did you have a question?
Yes, I'm begging to ask a question. How would we know? You said it, if you wake up and you're feeling weird, like if you're feeling doubt or insecure, would that be an example that something is disturbing your energy? Like, how would we know? So you're going to teach us just to do this every day, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But how would we become aware? By the way that we're emotionally feeling, is that one way? Because the
Oh, for
astral
sure.
entities, oh my goodness, yikes.
Oh, for
How do
sure.
we prevent it? One is, it's twofold. How do we know? And how do we prevent it?
Mm. Um, Prevented. You see,
Maybe we,
you see, you see, we are, when we're traveling, jumping on planes around lots of crowds, we're very vulnerable to lots and lots of cross pollination and
mm,
downloads. You know, we're sitting next to people really, really closely, etc., and just interacting with lots of people. But overnight, yeah, no, yes, it does happen. So definitely psychological state, emotional state. We're feeling uncomfortable. Definitely, guys, here are some indicators. If you have a negative thought, if you have a doubt thought, if you have a hesitation thought, if your internal state is a little jittery, is a little unsure, you're feeling and noticing that you are focusing on old memories that are sad, or focusing on old memories that weren't resolved, that so you know, something that happened that hurt you and it wasn't resolved, and you're still going round and round and round about it. And you're lying in bed in the morning, for example, and you're having these thoughts, these extraneous thoughts about something from the past. You know that. So what's happening is that there is a shadow consciousness or shadow energy present there, and it is guiding that attention. It is guiding and amplifying, because your attention's on it, amplifying the sadness. It's turning up the volume on uncomfortable feelings and uncomfortable emotions. That's what it's designed to do, almost like a software. So absolutely, as an indicator, Lorraine, you're absolutely spot on putting your finger on that. That's an indicator. If your emotions are really wobbly, right? Remember, like really kind of, what would you call it? Yeah, just
unstable.
unstable, hypersensitive, right? Just
Mm,
all of that. All of that is, oh, that's, by the time you're experiencing something like that, for me, I know I've got a huge payload of shadow sitting in
oh,
me. To me,
goodness.
that, oh yeah, to me, that's like, that's quite a big swimming pool of shadow that I know that my teams are going to have to work with if it's got to that point where I'm feeling that level of hypersensitivity or emotional, feeling emotional. So, because when your auric field is pretty clean, you're feeling you're feeling really sort of in control and very comfortable and sitting in your seat of equilibrium, that's the, what would you call it? The touch point. So if you're not feeling that, you need to check.
Wow, that is a tall order for all of us because I think
Mhm.
we've all felt this way. We are just not aware what's going on. So
Correct.
this is a big red flag then, because
Huge red
it's
flag.
not us. It's not us. It's energy affecting us.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's right. And there's very few people in the general mainstream, even general mainstream in therapy, who shine the spotlight on this. There's a lot of people who understand this. There's psychiatrists who understand that entities and shadow energy, the psychic worlds, are affecting people, for example, with destabilizing people. They are aware of that. But there's a huge, the mainstream isn't. Um, and so to talk about this is a little bit controversial, but I've just been doing this for too long, 34 years, looking into the worlds of spirit, having a look, seeing this, working with this day in, day out. So, yeah, just passing on deep, deep knowledge, deep experience, knowing exactly. And also knowing the teams that can just come in and intervene and work with this. By the way, right up front, I'm not a medical doctor, I don't prescribe. If you are in real trouble with mental health problems and clinical depression, and also physical symptoms, my recommendation is to see professionals and work with them to get you back to balance, whether it's health balance or psychological balance and emotional balance. That's very, very important right up front. Disclaimer. Um, However, our conversation today is about being smart as light workers, really, guys. Being smart, catch this early. So things don't travel down a long way to get to become chronic and really embedded, really endemic. The physical body takes its cues from our psychology, from our emotions. And all of these energy blueprints underpin our emotions and underpin our psychology and underpin our physical body. So, really important to stay on this and to really make this a daily practice. Really important so that things don't accumulate and become chronic. Okay, everybody, that's really, really important. Um, I want to just jump in really quickly, guys. I've got so much to cover, and I want to just bang, 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 just go through techniques and just start with really important key things to understand how to do this. So it's the how to. I want to also talk a little bit about how physical issues do originate in soul wounds. And I had a beautiful conversation just before coming on here with my spirit teams. And they said, Alicia, this whole reality is a plasma field that you're walking through. And echoes of your past lives are being presented um, and triggered inside of you of fears, of emotions, of psychological states, whether they were on the back foot and being very afraid or being shocked by something or who knows. But my spirit teams were saying that this entire reality that we're in is this field of plasma that's feeding towards us as a soul triggers from past incarnations. A lot of you guys as light workers already know this, that every challenge that we have has a past life origin. For us, and this is the key point, it's a beautiful challenge for the soul to look at it again, to look at the texture of the moment of the trigger, to become aware of the reaction inside of us so that we learn to become empowered in that moment and um, meet that moment with empowerment rather than disempowerment, which is classic therapy. You know, that's what you do in therapy. You just get more and more familiar with the wound, you know, whatever it is from this lifetime until the adult part of you, excuse me, the adult part of me, a part of you meets that wound with a soft clarity, an empowerment, and it just renegotiates and repatterns that whole unconscious wound. Very, very similar. That, just really quickly, as spirit healers, right? Still in that framework of that therapy process, we look at past lives that are kind of bleeding into our current moment with a challenge, and the origins even of current challenges, even of this lifetime challenges, come from ancient soul wounds that probably played themselves out on a much bigger scale, actually. And just a whisper of it is happening in this life, so that you taste it just one more time and make a decision to be empowered and repattern. And all the thing that my spirit teams were describing to me and showing me is, as we're walking in this life and interacting with our reality screen and with triggers from our reality screen that erupt old fears and old sadnesses, they're all watching how you do it. They're all standing around. All your mentors are walking with you, observing whether you stay calm and open and love-filled in that moment and make a decision not to be afraid. So it's interesting. They're saying that they are just watching, no judgment, they're just observing. So there's this continuum of a life experience that we're watching second by second, that we're experiencing, but it's all kind of with this love-filled background of mentors supporting us moving through healing, repatterning, new choices, as we move through the challenges. Now, everybody listening to me right now, watching me right now, I'd love you really to take that on board and to notice that that's real, and that when you are in the middle of a challenge, whether it's an emotional challenge or a psychological challenge or even a physical challenge, you have mentors that really do, and this is an extra element here, they want to intervene. They want to step onto your stage. They want to come across your screen, and they want to help you. They want to lift you up over that challenge, not to disempower you in that moment, but to actually speed up the healing and the healing integration and the repatterning of empowerment, speed up the repatterning of empowerment for that occurrence, for that trigger, for that soul wound. So you've got, this is something even light workers don't reach for sort of deliberately much. Like we sort of do, but we sort of don't too. That in the middle of a release, in the middle of an opening, a cracking open, to your next stage, knowing that we've got these mentors standing around us who are so happy to sort of just shortcut and speed up the integration and the movement over it into the next stage. This is so, so very important. Okay, so we've got helpers, we've got partners. So let's play. Let's have a look at using these partners who want to come in, want to shortcut the healing. Big point right now I'm going to just mention, 34 years of partnering, deliberately open, watching, learning from them, seeing what they do, looking into the worlds of spirit. I've been passed up to very senior levels and advanced and accelerated teams of healer beings. And you watching me right now, you're connected to them. It's very important that you know that because you're here today, you're connected to my auric field, they can feel you. And these are the teams that I want you to call on when you do lie down or in the morning when you're waking up and you're calling in your teams. So very specifically, guys, and I've had a conversation with them about this. Sometimes, we've got very specific community names of beings that we call in. My spirit teams have asked me to say for everyone to just use Alicia's or Alicia Power's spirit healer teams. Very simple. And the reason why they're asking me to suggest that you always use that is because depending on what you want them to look at, it's going to be a shallow situation, like a easy, closer to the physical situation that they're going to be dealing with, or it might be an ancient soul wound that they have to actually go through up layers of spirit authority to deal with and change things, make some deals further up, to close doorways and close gateways and talk to levels of the spirit world that interrupted you somewhere in an ancient soul past life. And so if you use, I call upon Alicia's spirit healer teams, if you use that term, they make the decision who shows up. This is quite important, okay, everyone? So that they are not limited to who shows up, and they've got a big range in their network who shows up, and it's the right guys, the right experts to deal with that moment and your situation. Right, I'm going to get everyone to, a couple of things. A key way to do this when you close your eyes is, and I call it relaxed attention. So the more relaxed you are, like if we're lying horizontal on a bed and we're kind of in snooze mode and we're inviting these teams in, keep your attention switched on, but allow yourself to relax. So the more relaxed you are, the more you'll see and the more you can follow what they're doing. It's really important. Like, give yourself that, right? Just stay calm, stay relaxed, and just watch and follow, and ask them to show you. Part of another framework is part of when we are doing this to interact with these teams. Ask them questions, ask them to go deeper, ask them just whatever comes up in your mind, right? So feel free to interact with them and talk with them, or send their attention a little sideways or whatever. So be part of the journey of what they're doing inside. There will be a moment where you'll feel that you go a little bit unconscious, a little bit snoozy. Remember, I was mentioning that right at the beginning. Right, so relaxed attention, watch what they're doing, feel free to interact with them and talk to them and point them, or ask for favors, like as they are in the middle of doing what they're doing. So, because they really love, they're telling me to say right now, they really love it when us humans point to things inside, places where something is feeling not quite right inside of yourself, where, I don't know, where some issue is just starting, or it might even be they have been there for a very long time. And they really respond to sincerity. You know, if you're feeling really disempowered about some physical issue, and you really in that moment send this kind of send out a very sincere prayer, needing help about something, they really respond to that. It's like it puts a rocket fuel up them. If you get what I mean, like if with that interaction with humans, right? If you kind of like really, not out of fear or rage or anger or, but genuinely just from a pure place, they so respond to that. And I think what I mean to say is that the speed and the depth and everything that they're doing just accelerates more if you do that, coming from that. Something that I just quickly want to say too is when we're in the middle of relaxed attention, just watching them, zoom in, allow your internal video camera, give yourself permission, because it really is, how tight am I, right? How tight is my logic? How tight am I thinking, am I doing this right? Just get rid of that and just let your attention kind of zoom in on what's there, like loosening a muscle. Yeah, and ask questions. Okay, let's play, everyone. I'm going to I've actually got somebody on the call, beautiful, beautiful, dear friend Miriam. We're going to be working with Miriam in a moment, but I want everyone to go into a process right now. We're going to walk you through so that you're being given some skills and how-tos on how to start one of these sessions. I just want to say something that's quite important. I don't know if I've got it here. No, I don't. That's quite important is using your imagination screen, your pretend screen, with mind tools, like with a mind visualization tool, to X-ray. You can also do this to X-ray yourself to see where shadow might be. And that's a really lovely way where you can see it just for a quick flash of a moment, and then that incredible moment where you see something in your imagination screen and you point to it and you invite these teams to work on it. That's a really powerful moment. You're instructing, you've seen them. They always say to me, if you human can see it, they can heal it. So if we've got these X-ray mind tools, like mind visualization tools to X-ray to see where shadow is, that shortcuts the process. Everybody, you guys all getting this? So a really beautiful, simple one, and some of you already know this one, is the, I call it the sun X-ray tool. And I actually have on my phone a picture of the sun. And I use it a lot. I just pop this picture on my phone and I push myself into the center of it. The visualization tool, you can either do it in your mind. I don't recommend looking at the actual sun because it's not very good for your eyes. But yeah, I do recommend having a picture of the sun, on your phone or something where at any moment you can look at it. And the visualization tool is to push a doll version of yourself into the center of the sun and switch on your imagination screen and notice what is there. And you may just notice like a center of shadow in you or shadow on the outside surrounding you. There's whatever shows up needs to be transmuted. Even if it looks like a ray of light coming into you that is showing up something that is not light. So this is an X-ray tool that I use, a visualization tool I use. I use it every day, several times a day. It's a really quick, fast, great X-ray tool. And then I point my teams towards what I saw and ask them to transmute it. Then I do it again because another layer will show up. Another layer of shadow. So beautiful, quick little tool that anyone can use at any moment. Like you might have gone into a big meeting or you've been downtown and done some shopping and you come back into your car, pull your phone out, have a look at the picture of the sun in your visualization, push yourself into the center of it and just see if some shadow has come in to your being, generally speaking. You won't see detail, but you'll get impressions of shadow. And then just sit there, invite the teams in, and you'll notice that you just feel lighter shortly, quite quickly afterwards. Remember, the teams that you're calling on are these accelerated teams, and they work so quickly. They really, really do. Makes a huge difference. That's one very powerful tool, the sun technique. Another one that we're going to start off with right now is just a simple, fun one, and it's a little bit closer to the physical body. And I call it the vacuum cleaner nozzle. It's like, the pipe. And you can, a couple of ways, you can just in your imagination, imagine a vacuum cleaner nozzle and just let it go where it wants to go. Or if you've got some pain somewhere or something that's feeling really uncomfortable, point the nozzle at that spot in your body, in your imagination, eyes closed if you want to. We'll do this in a moment. And there's just various different ways you can use that moment. And one of them is, in your imagination, start a vacuuming of, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Start a vacuuming of the energy, and watch. It's kind of like almost like an NLP technique where you've got your attention and it's very important to do this. Keep your attention on the substance and the quality and the color of the substance that's getting pulled out of that area. And it may start off with deep black and then turn to brown or gray as you're keeping your attention on it. And even at the very end, you might even see a little entity that gets pulled out of the vacuum cleaner. And that is quite significant. That's actually a really powerful moment of shift in that body blueprint. So that's actually quite a powerful tool. Another way that I work with this particular vacuum cleaner nozzle is I will point it at a chakra. And because I'm kind of used to switching on a visual, I will instantly get an impression of my whole body, like just point that vacuum cleaner nozzle at my whole body, a little bit like that sun technique. So the vacuum cleaner nozzle is pointing at my whole body, and I'll instantly get an impression of what's like a quotient of shadow that might be just sitting in my body. And I'll point at that, and the teams will start going in, and I'll do it again and again because it just shows up different layers inside. You can hear as I'm talking that it's a little bit vague, just slightly vague, but it's enough. It's like enough to point at for these teams to go in and start doing the detail work. Because to them, as soon as they go in, they're looking at detail. They're looking at very specific entities, things, energies, bits of software that are embedded in there. All kinds of different energy structures that are in there. So these teams are actually really detailed in what they do. They're not dealing with a vague bit of shadow. They're going in and doing an assessment of exactly what it is and dealing with it very, very precisely and specifically. So, and that's why I leave it up to them. It's like I open the door and I point, right? Because I see something there that should not be there, but they do the detail work. They'll be going in and transmuting. And I'm still engaged. I'm still watching them. And I just repeating again, I will repeat that process 2, 3, 4 times so that until I notice that there's ease and that shadow isn't there anymore. All these teams say, yep, that's enough. So these are just 2 powerful X-ray tools, mind visualization tools, mental tools, that are enough to start you guys off because, it's the pointing at something that's very specific that you can see. It's a partnership, right? It's a quantum partnership here where your attention is on something and they will follow your attention to what it is and they start doing the work. Right. I think that's all I wanted to sort of just a little bit of how to there. Guys, let's work really quickly. And we're going to be doing some work with Miriam in a moment. But everyone, closing your eyes, let's play. This is such an important session. I want everyone to I'm just reading here a note from Mary. I'm always convinced that I'm not doing it right. The more you practice, the more they will get you to feel them, right? This is everything with working with the worlds of spirit. The more you practice, guys, just be patient, practice, repeat, 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 and you'll start noticing that way below your logic, you'll be getting it. You'll be understanding how it works. That's why I'm talking about patience, because our logic comes in and starts doubting. Our logic comes in, is looking for sort of solid stuff. So when working with the worlds of spirit, it's a very brave move to go into a fluid flow mode rather than a hard logic mode. It's a brave thing to drop out of that hard logic and go into fast impressions, flows of knowings. See, so it's like a stream that you're jumping into almost of knowings and interaction. It's a softer place rather than that hard logic. Mary, great question. Such a good question right at that moment. Okay, everyone, closing your eyes. Won't be a sec. All right, I want everyone to choose something in your body that's annoying you. Lorraine, I'm thinking, you said that you had a toe injury 3 weeks ago. I reckon you should choose that. And we're going to use the vacuum cleaner nozzle. All right, everyone, you can choose a chakra point that you think is a little bit stuck and a little bit feeling tight, or, your shoulders or your neck, or backaches. Everybody got your thing? All right. So everyone, I'm so excited. So let me just pause here for a moment. Just noticing. So it's really quite lovely to do a ritual, and the ritual really is where your attention is. So the ritual is, okay, I'm going to be doing some of this stuff, right? You start in your mind, you're going, all right, I'm going to take some time out. I'm going to put some attention on this in your life, right? And the first thing you do to the worlds of spirit is you say, and I'm going to kind of formalize this calling on them. It's just a tiny, slightly formal. And you can start off with, in this moment in time, I, and your name, and you could say, of love, I, Alicia of love, call upon Alicia's spirit healer team. In this moment in time, I, in your name of love, call upon Alicia's spirit healer teams. That's the little ritual. And then we're going to start the mental visualizations. It's a beautiful moment because even as we've just done it right now, I can feel these spirit healer teams arriving. It's such a kind of intimate, love-filled calling out and their love-filled response because they're arriving. All right, everyone. I want you, because they're waiting for you to point at something, right? But I want you to do this process with this vacuum cleaner pipe because I want you to learn how to be a little bit more specific than just vaguely pointing at something. So put the edge of the pipe near, pointing at the spot that feels uncomfortable for you or was injured or needs clearing, needs healing, the blueprints. And just to start with, I want you to activate that sucking motion, the vacuuming motion of the energy. But just to start with, let's play with that. And I want you to put your attention on any energy that's being pulled up that vacuum pipe. Keep your attention on it and say to yourself, okay, what color is it? Keep that vacuuming suction action happening. Really important. I'd like you to switch on your imagination and notice if the energy is changing. How does it feel? Does it feel intense in terms of as it's getting pulled up that pipe? Is that a little bit intense, but slightly unusual? So this really simple skill can make a huge difference to the level of pain that you might be feeling with something, or even the speed with an injury that an injury heals. Incredibly important. Or if you knocked yourself, right? You had a little accident and knocked a part of your body. There's a little injury there, but there's a psychic injury to it as well, the blueprints. If you did this with this pipe and pulled out the shock in the blueprints underneath that injury as quickly as possible, the healing will just happen rapidly. Or if you're going to surgery and you want rapid healing afterwards, this is a really powerful process to do what we're doing right now. Okay, everyone, switching on your attention. I'm just activating your attention again. And just notice the color of the energy being pulled up the pipe. Very simple process, but quite powerful. The spirit healer teams are in attendance and are helping in this moment. We can come back here. You can come back here later and do this process. I want you now to imagine your body in your imagination is just standing there in front of you, and a slightly different version of this. We're going to put that vacuum cleaner pipe just sort of pointed at your body, and I want you to just notice if there's any shadow in your energy body. And I'm just telling you to instantaneously move past your logic and just know, just sense, instant knowing. Have the bravery to do that, instant knowing. And if you do get a sense of shadow, and look, every day there probably will be some shadow, so don't be alarmed. This is kind of like having a bath, having a shower every day, right? So when you do sense that there's some shadow just there, turn to the spirit teams that are around you and point at it. That is the moment of instruction and permission. That's the part of your partnership. Very, very important. These technician teams need specifics. They need you to point at something. And because they're very accelerated, they will be in there so fast and doing their expertise, making the assessment. And I'd like you to do this one more time and then another time. So stepping back, pointing that pipe, it's just an excuse for the mind to focus, that vacuum cleaner nozzle at the body. Sensing into the body, is there shadow in there? Pointing at it again, second time. And instructing the teams. To transmute it. Transmute is a very specific word, of course, using that term. So this is a really simple process. Stay in there, everyone, because we're going to move to another moment. This is a really simple process to do regularly. If you've just come home from shopping, or just had a difficult moment with someone, or woken up discombobulated, this is what you'll be doing, these processes. So we're going to go back to a physical issue. Remember how we had that nozzle pointed at something that was a physical issue in your body? We're going to do that again. We're going to go back to that position with the vacuum cleaner nozzle. And this time you're going to turn to these spirit teams. They want you to talk to them. And I want you to ask them to go deeper into that physical issue. And I want you to allow them, we're not going to spend too long on this, but ask them to go deeper into the origin of what caused that physical issue. Now, they look for emotional memory, psychological memory. To them, it's not about you bumping your knee on the corner of your bed and getting a bruise. They're looking at some kind of a thought that you had, which was a sadness thought or a fear thought, which then caused you to have an accident. They're looking way further back to the cause of an injury or of something showing up in your physical body. Let's have that moment. Let's let them travel back and notice what that original decision, it's like a soul decision or a part of you that felt disempowered in a moment, and it traveled all the way into your auric field and set itself up for something showing up in your physical body. So let's let these guys travel back to an origin point. So the instructions given, you give them that instruction to do that, and then let's go quiet for a moment and pause, let them do the job, and you'll feel them coming back to you when they've got the information and they've done what they need to do. They may not do the huge whole transmutation immediately now, but they've got their orders, they've got the job list of what they need to do. I'm saying that when they return from their assessment moment. So when you go quiet and you think nothing's happening, they're working. And when they stop working, they will let you know. When they want to interact with you again, where they're asking for the next instruction, you'll feel that. You'll know. You will feel their attention back on you. Some big clues here, how to work with these guys. So interesting. I'm being prompted, Loren, now actually to bring Miriam on because we're in the middle of this process, and I'm going to dive into Miriam's auric field and just hear from Miriam what a physical issue might be for her, and I'm going to bring my teams in to take a look. Is that Miriam?
I'm Miriam's.
Hi. Yes,
Hello.
I'm here. Hello.
Okay, I'm so excited. I'm so excited, Miriam. I have not ever jumped into your auric field and worked with your auric field before, so this is going to be so much fun. So I'm just saying to everybody else who's listening, you guys can keep working with your teams on your own blueprints, but we're going to be playing with Miriam right now, and you can listen along as well. Okay, so Miriam, what is a physical issue that you want to point at or look at?
I would say the main issue for me now is chronic fatigue. For quite a while. I have been having restless nighttime sleep, and many mornings I wake up feeling very tired. And with sore, tense muscles in neck and shoulder area. And this ongoing fatigue, foggy brain. And in the past month, I started having some slow digestion. My stomach hasn't been very well.
Okay, let's play. Give me a moment. All right. So I think I'm going to close my eyes and let's dive in. And this is what I do with all of my trainings. I just start describing. So let's just see. Won't be a moment. Miriam, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's so much fun hanging out with you. All right. Yes. Won't be a moment. so beautiful. My spirit teams are just instantly saying, what a beautiful soul, beautiful energy field. They're doing a look around. It's like they've walked into a house and they're looking around. Yes. Lorraine and I were talking about astral beings, right, overnight. So they're saying, yeah, you're being visited overnight by mischievous beings who, unfortunately, this does happen with light workers, right? They try to trip us up. They try to and want to slow us down in our love light. And they're telling me to say that's why you're waking up fatigued and your brain fog, etc., and just not in equilibrium and not clear when you're getting up. It's interesting, and they're talking to me and saying to me that if these shadow software downloads aren't cleared every morning, it accumulates, and the body chemistry starts repatterning itself into this lower pattern, where the chemistry, whether it's toxins or so that fatigue, it's kind of like the blueprints have got these downloads from shadow, but it starts embedding itself into the physical map, and that starts becoming the pattern of the body as a longitudinal thing. So they're seeing that the lever, the thing that's causing it are these nighttime, unfortunately, these nighttime shadow downloads. Won't be a moment. And they're saying, Miriam, you're such a high soul that they really do want to trip you up and stop you being at your 100% productivity during the day. Interesting, isn't it? It's such a sort of mischievous thing to do. So they're going to go in right now. They just want to go in and do a little bit of a cleanup of this, of your blueprints. And they're calling on extra teams to, because it's a big job, because it's been happening for quite a long time and it's quite embedded. It's in a kind of a stasis, been there for a long time. Okay, let's just check this out. They're going in. I'm watching a couple of them look at me and smile. It's like they're on candid camera, they're being watched. So funny. They have a sense of humor, these beautiful healing teams. So they're going in, and while several groups of them are working on those body blueprints, another team are starting to travel upwards to your soul history. And let's just take a look at that. Soul wounds. Yeah. They want to let you know that you've had a lot of past lives in religious orders, and you're a natural mentor and a natural teacher. And you really do want to pass on the intrinsic knowledge that you have of light and of love. It's an urgent thing for your soul to pass that on, to pass on consciousness training. And but they're saying you really have been interrupted a lot throughout your life, and might be a moment, and they're actually saying that you need to do a lot of work with these teams, with these healing teams. Just spend hours letting them go deep and clean you up, and do this regularly, like long, deep healing sessions, so that your blueprints start getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And they can have a conversation with you about that, like a decision to start doing that with you. And I'm just saying that slightly different teams are arriving because I'm facilitating. So in this moment, than you being on your own, for example, previously inviting teams in. So it's a slightly higher advanced level of team that's arriving right now to take a look at your soul history, your soul wounds. And they're going straight to your digestion right now. For some reason, they're putting their attention on your digestion, and they're looking at, there's entities there just curled up, embedded in there. Let's just see. They want to transmute those quickly while looking at them. Yes, so very similar to the nozzle of the vacuum cleaner. They do a lot of vacuuming, pulling out in this work, but also just instantaneous transmutation as well, the light. So a little bit of advanced knowledge here, Miriam, this is for you, that when entities get lodged in a place in your body, say, for example, your digestion, what they do is, and this is something that I've become aware of only in the last year or so, being watching for this and understanding and learning this, they keep revealing more and more and more, even 34 years, right? Playing with them, they just keep revealing more and more how this works. So when entities do accumulate in a part of the body and are there for a period of time, they actually open a portal, a doorway, like a stargate in that area. And more and more astral beings can come through into that area that's been compromised for a period of time. And this has happened in your digestion. Just letting you know, I know it sounds extreme, guys, but when you're dealing with the spirit world, you really do need to have strong partners in the worlds of spirit who can interact on your behalf. So, and if people are listening to me and going, oh my God, this is horrendous, it's time to wake up. It's time to understand that the worlds of spirit, it's a jungle, and that we really need to be onto this and understand how this is working and keep an eye on all of this. Jumping into these processes with these teams every day, letting them take a look, letting them show us what's there. They're just working with this portal because they see that as the cause of like a long-term issue. So they're wanting to close that stargate. They're the experts. They do the work. We're just keeping our attention on it. They're doing a bit of vacuuming at the same time, just pulling out shadow, escorting some of these mischievous shadow entities out, just pulling them right out. They're looking at your spine and your central nervous system and the spinal cord and all the stress kind of patterned in a lot of stress is just impregnated into that spinal cord. So just because they're working with you, they want to do it. They just quickly move to different spots that they know can help generally. So they're just moving quickly into that spinal cord, and they want to read the DNA, and they want to understand the stress that it's holding. So they're just reading it right now, taking a look. This is the thing when you are watching the spirit teams, you notice them doing peripheral work because they know it's important to the whole energy flow in your body. So they are right in there working with your DNA and just, it's kind of like flushing out fear. And for those of you watching or listening to this, this is not a one-off thing. Working with these teams, really repeating again, does need to happen every day because they will touch up their work. They will strengthen the results of, say, the day before's work so that it starts to create a pattern of strength because everything is fluid. Okay, still working on that spinal cord. They're saying it's really, really important. They're also re-embedding new instructions, new codes into your DNA to help you remember your strength. Letting me know to say that soul memory of your strength as a soul plays a huge part in the response of your physical body, your physical tissues. There's a beautiful marriage of the two. When you're reminded of your strength as a soul, not consciously, subliminally, through this download of codes, the body, it's easier for the body to stay strong. So they don't want to spend too long, but they are looking at this chronic fatigue situation, and they're just saying that there's this daily downloads, throughout the night of these astral beings. And I think I'm going to I'm about to sort of pause the session with you, Miriam, but they have just decided, screech of brakes, and they've just decided to just take a slightly deeper look into how that's playing out into chronic fatigue and who these guys are. Won't be a moment, and where they're coming from too. This is all of their expertise. They just do a big sweep of understanding. And for everyone listening, I'd like you to notice that it's so important that we're focusing on this issue, an issue. But from there, everything moves out to the origin of the issue. But first, they need a specific issue that you're pointing at for them to then move out and start dealing with wider issues that are relating to the specific issue. So it won't be a moment. This is one of those classic moments where it's quiet and they're paused because they are reading, they are scanning, they're flying around the universe, taking a look at who it is that's interrupting Miriam during the night so that she wakes up tired every morning. Actually, Miriam, I'm going to get you to do, while I'm doing that, I'm going to get you to do a process, which is to put that vacuum nozzle on your brain. And I want you to notice what starts getting pulled up the vacuum nozzle. And just notice if the vacuum nozzle is being moved around, almost as though a spirit hand is moving that vacuum nozzle around. I want you to switch on your imagination screen. I know you're a very visual person, by the way. And just for fun, I'd like you to describe what is being pulled up the vacuum pipe.
I sense a gluey gray substance being pulled out.
Very good. So keep your eye on that, on the substance, on the color. If you've got noise in the background, you can mute. If you go quiet, just mute your microphone. That's it. And I want you to describe to me the moment that the color changes or the substance changes.
I kind of see a smoke, dark gray smoke being pulled out now.
Mm. I'm being told also, just in this moment, the teams have returned from their scanning process and checking out to see what is going on during the night. And they're letting me know they know exactly who it is. They've understood. They've learned who it is that's connecting with you during the night. And not right now, but after we finish this call, they're going to go up into the worlds of spirit and they're going to transmute the entire community of these astral beings. This is the level of advanced authority that they have. So for everyone listening, just to let you know that you do have these teams attending to you who have got this kind of advanced authority. So it's about you instructing them to do that and then giving them the quiet to scan and learn what they need to learn, and then being quiet as they do big, high transmutations. This is incredibly important for everybody, for all of you light workers watching and listening, that in the worlds of spirit, there are communities of shadow that, and at night, that do puppeteer interruptions of your psychology and of your body. They just do because they can. We're asleep. We're not conscious. We're not noticing any changes. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. All right, Miriam, I'm going to get you to describe any change of color or of that substance as you've got that vacuum cleaner nozzle pointed at your head. I'm so excited you guys have got these tools now, these skills. Miriam, is there any change of color or substance?
Yeah, the substance looks clearer now, a little bit.
Very good. And you can keep working on this because, again, it might have been there for a very long time. So there's actually like a big long tail of it. So you can just keep working on that. Marion, thank you you can keep your attention on it, on that vacuum. I just want to say thank you for being our guest today, for us working on you. And what I've shared today with everybody is what I do. I'm onto this after 34 years of watching in the worlds of spirit. Really simple techniques, really simple tools. These are the tools I grab when I want to take a look, get them to take a look, and get them to work. The big point is, they're the experts. Point them to the spots. Let them do the scan. Then let them do the transmutation. And go back again to you another layer deeper, another layer deeper, another layer deeper. Hopefully that is enough of such a simple training. We're not doing the transmutation, they are. We're doing the looking. Simple training, simple skills, simple tools. Pop it in your back pocket, walk with these skills, walk with these tools every day, wherever you are. Use them. Big point here is, if you do this, just like Miriam had an accumulation of these shadow software downloads that never got clearly looked at for what they really were over a long period of time, and the body just started to go into stasis, an embedded kind of process of chronic fatigue, because it's astral based, it's psychic energy based. Interesting thought that there are agendas, that spirit communities in the worlds of spirit have agendas to stop light workers, to shut down the energy systems of light workers. Very radical thing to say, but really maybe not that radical. Makes a lot of sense to me. In the worlds of spirit, we're walking and talking in a quantum soup. They can see us, we can't see them. It's time to use the right teams to help us stay strong. Very, very important. Loren, did you have any comments? Thank you, Miriam.
I want to say that I feel great. That was really wonderful. Years ago, I would have been freaked out by this. Seriously, I would have been freaked out. But my understanding now is that this is real and that we can empower ourselves with these tools that you shared with us. And there's nothing to be frightened about, but this awareness allows us to recognize that these tools can be used on a daily basis, like you said. I feel great. My toe, it was actually revealed to me that I was giving my power away because it was a recurring thing. And so that's very, very, very interesting. And I'm going to continue to do the work on that. But wow, I mean, doesn't this kind of make some of us a little enraged? Like, how dare you? And so when we are aware of this now, we can use these tools to keep ourselves clean and keep ourselves clear. And as I've learned in this Energy Healing Summit series, this stuff does go on and we don't even know it. We may not even be aware of it. Isn't that fascinating? But when we recognize that we're not ourselves, we're not showing up the way that we show up, that there's hindrances, and we have the power to correct it, to self-correct it, working with spirit teams like the creator beings. It really is empowering. I'm just going to say it's very empowering. So thank you for that. I hope everyone is feeling really good. There's a question that I think is on a lot of people's minds. Can we protect ourselves from these shadow energies?
Okay, so as a really experienced, sophisticated energy worker, right? My nose is in those spirit worlds a lot. I still get interacted at night by mischievous teams. Yeah. And it's because there are so many different kinds of shadow communities in the worlds of spirit. It's a big world out there in the worlds of spirit. And so I know that this is quietly ongoing work. The spirit world is giving me an analogy of a car sitting in a garage. It's just got to, the dust's got to be wiped off it. It's got to be polished. It's just life. And especially if your light is increasing, especially if you're a leader.
Wow.
And this is something I learned. I do want to say this is something I learned like really early on, because I was following an Indian spiritual master from the age of 18 to about the age of 30, and just meditation, just bliss. And then I started to chat to the worlds of spirit, and they started to show me what's happening in the world of spirit. And I recognized that this is a daily bath. And if you don't have your bath, things happen. And really, it's maintenance. And also, a key point is it's warriorship to maintain your light down in a very dense layer of reality, which is this physical dimension. So for our physical bodies to be clear with nice clear blueprints, it's a daily scan. It's a daily check, because yeah, there are so many communities in the worlds of spirit, really just, and it's, you know, anyway, and they do interact. So yeah, I'm onto it, and it's just a daily process, and I just make sure I stay nice and clear. I love doing the process of bringing myself back to strength and clarity and highlight. These teams that I work with are multi-layered. They deal with my soul field. They deal with my physical body. So in that time, that quiet time where I'm working with them in the morning, they are looking at all the levels and are clearing all the levels and are repatterning and putting in new software in that quiet time that I give them, that focus time. And so I walk through my day with them, with love, with strength, with clarity. So yeah, it's a daily process. Brushing your teeth.
All right, there's two questions that I see that I want to be sure to ask you about in our final moments here. And that is, when we see the shadow presence, do we tell them to get lost, or do we just use this tool? I mean, do we help that we have the creator beings transmute them?
Really important, light workers, everybody watching this, don't do it yourself. Don't try and deal with the shadow yourself, because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know that that's the tip of the iceberg of something quite big. You're out of your depth. We don't know what the texture and the fabric of shadow is. It's intelligence. Guys, shadow is not your sort of emotional wounds. That's not what shadow is. Shadow is a vast force, and it's got emissaries. It's really smart. It's, you know, so our logic, our human logic, doesn't have the capability of understanding what we're dealing with when we're trying to, like, if you wanted to, you could command a shadow being out, because we're beings and that's a being. But my recommendation is to invite a master spirit technician to deal with that, because it'll do it properly. It'll do it comprehensively. It can see the entirety of what that is. It's got the authority to deal with it. Is everyone actually hearing what I'm saying? Because this is a misconception that light workers have, that they can confront shadow and try and do it themselves with their human logic. We're not the experts at understanding what that energy is. So I mean, it's like an old-fashioned way of doing it. You know, like that a lot of the lightworker communities talk about. It's like, just command the shadow away. You know, it might be a little temporary moment, but that being has got associates and a whole community with it of it, the kind of beings that it is. And it's got really high agendas. So there's a lot of complication around dealing with shadow. I just want to say, the smart way is to use these spirit technicians, spirit healing teams to deal with it. That's the smart way. That's the comprehensive way. That's when that shadow is really dealt with correctly and properly.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for the question.
Yes, thank you for
Really
that.
important.
You know, like, you know, some light workers, we would think, oh, we have the tools, just bring in the plasma light into your body. And that is helpful. But what we've learned today from you and the creator beings is so valuable and so helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have equipped us you've armed us with a very powerful tool that I know all of us need this. All of us can use this. No one is immune from this. And yes, it helps to have a facilitator, like a third party, work with us. But what you've done is given us liberation, freedom to work with these higher level spirit tutors to assist us in this process. So thank you. I hope everyone is feeling really clean and clear. And one more question. I know we're coming up on our time, but I think this one is interesting. Should we always close systems after we've been working with energy in any way, especially if we listen to stuff online?
Oh, guys, yeah, closed systems. When we're working with a transmutation moment with these teams, and when they have finished, you will feel it. If you're lying down, you'll suddenly, your eyes will come open, you'll take a deep breath, and you'll feel like sitting up, strangely. So they will let you know below your logic the moment that they have finished. So just be attentive to that and aware of that. Try not to go and answer a phone call halfway through it and wait for them to finish, okay? Because it's all these energy fields and they have to bring all the energy fields back. They will. And to sort of close off your energy fields and have you ready. They do this all very quickly and very efficiently and expertly. So learn how to work with them, right? In those moments of healing and get used to how they work with you. They're telling me to say they are used to working with me. And I'm so used to noticing when they're in the middle of assessing and making an assessment and then doing the work, and subtly you can feel them doing the work. It's like a little bit of intensity because the drills are going and they're transmuting and you can kind of feel it, and then it's finished and you kind of feel the intensity just ease and you just wait, and then they can just feel them finishing, and then you get up. So just that. There was the second part of the question, Lorraine. Oh yeah, social media, phones, TV.
Oh, the news.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, I'm going to say something really controversial. As soon as you put your attention on your phone, you go into a different dimension. If you put your attention into YouTube, you're going into a different dimension. Your unconscious cannot tell the difference with watching someone on YouTube to them being in front of you and talking to you. To your unconscious, you are experiencing that person. You're experiencing their energy.
Wow.
So if you're watching the war in Lebanon currently on television, the whole energy of that is pouring into your living room, including just the searing, intensity of that vibration. It's going into your living room. And if your eyes are planted on that, it's going into your aura. Wherever your eyes are planted, it's going into your aura. So if your eyes are planted on nature, on a beautiful flower, the pristine nature of God source is coming into your aura, right? If your eyes are looking at the eyes of someone who's very negative on YouTube or on anywhere, their vibration is going into you. Instantaneous osmosis, instantaneous. It's vibration, instantaneous. A lot of you guys already know this. So guard your living rooms and guard your eyes.
Beautiful.
I keep up with the news, but I am careful. And afterwards, sometimes I do need to clear myself.
Yeah, because we can definitely feel it. And so again, navigating our path with the feeling and the emotions. Okay. Well, thank you for these beautiful tools today. Again, everyone, we can see the empowerment that we have to do this work, to do this maintenance on a regular basis. It's really important, and nothing will take our light. It tries, but just keep at it, and keep doing this, and call on these beautiful teams that are available for us, and use that imagination, visualization, turn it on, and just watch what happens. Okay, awesome. I wanted to say, as we say goodbye, Alicia has a beautiful special offer here. Some of you may already be enrolled in it because it is such a dynamic program. It's Advance Your Spirit series. And I've put the link in our Zoom box, and the link is also on our YouTube channel. By the way, if you're watching our YouTube channel, this is a channel of light and the vibration of love, heart, purity. So thank you for watching us there on YouTube. Alicia, please share a little bit more on this Advance Your Spirit series. It really is tremendous and full of incredible teachings. Thank you.
So this program, Advance Your Spirit Series 1 and Advance Your Spirit Series 2, is very advanced, working together with advanced teams of spirit beings who go into your soul fabric and travel into soul wounds with a beautiful process, which hardly ever happens in my work, where they invite you to write and workshop on paper your issues and allow your unconscious and your feelings to come up on paper as you're writing. And the spirit teams are traveling into your aura as you're writing and following the experience you're having as you're writing. And they're traveling into the auric field and into your soul history, following the tunnels and the highways of what's happening to you as you're workshopping on paper. Quite an interesting process, but incredibly deep. They start finding the soul wounds. They start finding, there's so much workshopping of your soul, of integrating your human self with your soul, so that the light from your higher selves starts coming down into your human self and integrating and building and grafting your human self. There's module after module that just keeps going higher and higher in terms of that light workshopping, of changing the way that you view yourself, how you're standing inside yourself and how you're operating from inside yourself. And the point of these is to push you into your light leadership and into strength of light. That beautiful thing of traveling into those soul wounds, transmuting those soul wounds, finding them, finding where they are, finding what they are. It's like cracks and occlusions in a crystal, finding where they are, and with precision, with incredible teams of angelic armies of healers and light beings going into these cracks and healing them, layer upon layer upon layer. I nearly can't emphasize enough how powerful this series is, and this process of workshopping your soul wounds. And it's just asking me to say, and I know it to be, which is just this unpeeling of your power through these modules. So moving into a higher and higher platform of power right through these modules. So there's 10 modules in series 1, 10 modules in series 2. All of it is about grafting your higher light down into your human self so that you walk and talk in your full power as a light being. Just incredible. Mind-blowing. absolutely mind-blowing, because it's these spirit teams that are taking you by the hand with so much love and helping your conscious self see yourself differently. So if you want to step into leadership, your conscious self has to change. Your conscious self needs to, and it's not like you forcing it, they change the software in you. Did I mention that? This is what this the series is about. Them changing the software in you into a higher and higher platform so that you see yourself differently. Quite powerful. Thank you. Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank
And
you, Alicia. Thank you. Go ahead. There's
I
more.
was just going to say, I encourage everyone just to read the content of the modules, which is on the event page here, or just click that link and have a look and just start reading. That'll blow your mind, even as you just start reading what is in every module, what we cover in every module.
Get excited. Yes, it's very exciting. And again, Alicia, all the time that we spend with you is so uplifting. We sleep well and we are better for it, and we hold more light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. Oh my goodness, truly, truly, we hope that you use these tools on a regular basis. I love the sun image, the photo of the sun, and you x-ray yourself, and then the vacuum cleaner, and calling on the creator beings to assist. That beautiful message, that mini prayer, really, that Alicia gave us, to be in this now moment and call on the creator beings, Alicia's creator beings, to work with us and make our lives better. All right. Thank you, Alicia. As we say goodbye, any final thoughts?
You know what motivated me to make sure I gave a comprehensive training for light workers today was learning about deaths of prominent light workers, of teachers of light and love that came too early. And and I do see it. People are not caring for their auric fields. People aren't aware that these highly evolved spirit technician teams can come and start mentoring the blueprints, the structure, the matrices, the scaffolding of your physical body, of your psychology, and of your emotions, mentoring it in terms of cleaning it, keeping it strong, so that you don't get any surprises. And I just noticed that even light worker leaders and mentors don't know how to do this. So I just had this fire in my belly to let you guys know what's really going on, and give you some basic tools so that you begin to clean every day, brushing your teeth.
Thank you for these tools. Thank you. Thank you. We take them, we hold them in our heart, and we will work with them. You have done tremendous work, heavy lifting for us today by sharing this technology with us. Thank you, Alicia Power. And thank you, everyone, for this work that you've done today. I hope you feel different. I feel different. And the world is different as we learn to use these tools on a regular basis. Thank you, Alicia. And thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
All right. Have a beautiful day and sweet dreams. Namaste. Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. This has been a presentation of New Earth One Network, your home for New Earth living. Access information, education, and videos on living from the heart in unity consciousness. Visit newearth1.com.